Hey guys, it's Emma. Today I decided to do a Draw My Life video for you guys. I've been getting so many questions about designer babies ever since I mentioned that my parents took a different route for how I came to be. And because designer babies are getting so popular, in this video I decided to explain why I'm a designer baby and how my life is different than many others. I was born on January 3rd, 2023, but it all really started in the year 2022 when my parents decided that they were ready to have a child. However, things were a little more complicated for them. My dad has a condition called cystic fibrosis, a genetic condition that affects the lungs by causing the production of a thick, sticky mucus. The lifespan of these individuals is around 50 years, but luckily my dad is doing okay. However, my mom is a carrier of cystic fibrosis, meaning that she has one recessive allele for the condition. This might sound a bit confusing, but cystic fibrosis is an autosomal recessive condition, meaning that you need two of the recessive alleles to have the condition. So, as you can see, I would have had a 50% chance of having the disorder if my parents conceived me naturally. Before telling you more about how the process of having a designer baby works, I'd like to tell you more about what really a designer baby is and why people choose to have designer babies. A designer baby is a genetically modified human embryo which is modified by following the guidelines set by scientists or parents to produce desirable traits. The genetic makeup of these children is artificially set by genetic engineering combined with a process known as in vitro fertilization, or better known as IVF, where an egg and sperm are combined together in a laboratory dish so that fertilization can occur. Together, these processes help ensure the presence or absence of certain genes. Additionally, designer babies have the potential to have desirable traits, ranging from appearance to athletic ability to lowering disease risk. In my case, my parents chose to have a designer baby due to my high risk of having a genetic disorder, cystic fibrosis. The purpose of having a designer baby varies from case to case, but a common situation is if there is a family history of certain genetic diseases. In this case, genetic engineering and a technique called pre-implantation genetic diagnosis, or PGD, which will later be discussed, can be used. Other purposes of having designer babies could be individual preference of parents to create their children in a certain way so that they would have what they deem an advantage in life and a longer lifespan. However, designer babies produced for such reasons may encounter ethical issues. After doing some research on their own about designer babies and cystic fibrosis, my parents decided that they weren't willing to take the risk of me having cystic fibrosis. So they met with a doctor to learn more about the procedure of having a designer baby and learned about some pros and cons as well.
Hi, Mr. and Mrs. Cooper. How are you guys?
We're good, thank you.
So based on our previous meeting, I have assessed your records and I will be going over a potential procedure we may use in order to prevent your child from being born with cystic fibrosis.
Okay.
In terms of the procedure, we will first extract eggs from you, Mrs. Cooper, through a small surgery and receive sperm from a sample given by Mr. Cooper. A blood test is required from the mother and is used to figure out hormone levels, and a transvaginal ultrasound conducted to see ovaries. Once that is finished, the sperm and egg will be combined in a dish where the egg is observed to see if fertilization has occurred. This step is called insemination. Because we are using this method to eliminate any chances of the child getting cystic fibrosis, we will also be using pre-implantation genetic diagnosis, or PGD.
What exactly is PGD?
Well, PGD is a specific IVF method used by parents that have inherited genes for various diseases, such as yourselves. It increases the overall potential for successful delivery, as it allows physicians to select embryos that are not predisposed to certain genetic or sex-linked conditions.
Okay, I understand.
For this procedure, first a genetic test will be conducted on the cells removed from the embryos. This is done to select embryos without genetic diseases, for in your case, cystic fibrosis. The embryos are grown for 5 to 6 days, then examination with PGD is performed, where abnormal signs are detected by genetic testing on removed cells.
Okay.
Finally, the embryo is moved into the female's uterus after 3 to 5 days via a small tube that is inserted into the uterus for transfer. Additionally, a new type of genetic engineering, CRISPR, offers potential in editing genomes by removing faulty genes and having them replaced with correctly functioning ones. The system is used to produce designer babies by adjusting genes, removing mutations, or even adding new ones.
Created using pt1.